Hello, my name's James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth in the UK. You've probably not heard of me, and I welcome you to this live video featuring one of my favorite photographers in the world. Thank you very much if you are a returning viewer. Thank you very much if you're a new viewer to the channel. We hope to have some really, really good discussion about the love of photography today. We are joined by someone from Vaxo in Sweden. She is the fine art specialist creating evocative images of everyday people, and among her over 100 professional accolades are such diverse titles as Double Icon Master, Portrait Master, Canon Europe Ambassador. Why won't they pick me? And as of this week, she is the second best national champion of Sweden, a few inches behind Armand Duplantis and his 6 meters 30 centimeter world record. I present to you the 28-year veteran pro judge, mentor, coach, and all-round positive influencer, Martina Warenfeldt. How are you today?
Oh my God, I'm like, I can feel myself blushing here. Thank you so much. What an introduction. I need you like boosting me every damn morning.
I'm here. I'm not a hard guy to find. I'm not that busy. Armand Duplantis was amazing earlier this week. Did you see this image? Look at this. This is him at the top of his jump. I couldn't believe this when this was photographed from the stands. He still has a full Armand Duplantis to go, even when he's at the top of the pole. It's incredible.
No, this is so hard to actually understand how this is even possible to achieve, or to even use to do that sport. I don't get it.
Well, I asked before, and by the way, if you are watching, if you've got a comment, please leave it in the comments. If you've got a question for Martina, leave it in there, and I will ask Martina a question. I once asked someone, how do you learn pole vault? Like, where's the starting point? You turn up at an athletics track, go, right, I want to do pole vault. Where's the start? And actually, that person just coincidentally was on the side of a rugby pitch, and they coincidentally were an athletics coach, and they told me how they did it. But it starts off indoors with like genuinely with like a small pole and into like big boxes and stuff like that. Make it a soft jump. But man alive. And when are you ever going to need it in everyday life?
Yeah. No, there's no. But it's such a defeat. That's like a Superman for real, or Superwomen, whoever it's doing it.
Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Martina's work, here is a sample of her Instagram feed. You can find her on Instagram. She's not a hard person to find, Martina Warenfeldt, and she deals with these amazing images. What I love about your work, Martina, is that everything is analog. You obviously have you put a lot of care and a lot of time into your post-processing, but as we're going to see here in one of these videos how it was made, the images that you create are made with analog sets. You build sets from nothing, from scratch, by using vintage props, by working really, really well with color harmonies, and by creating an environment for your models, for your clients, for your genuine paying clients to come in and have a full-on experience. Talk to us a little about this as we watch you destroy some musical sheets with coffee grounds.
Well, this was a client, fine art client, and I asked her if she has any interests, and she says, well, I play the flute. And I was like, oh my God, it's a long, shiny object. It's not the best thing for a fine art portrait. And I was like, what about the cello? What about the violin? You know, it's like, I had to put my own violin in there to get that sense. But she goes, well, I was like, bring it. And I said, do you have any sheet music? And she goes, yeah, sure. And she brought the sheet music. But of course, it was a straight out of the printer, starch white. It's not in my color scheme. So while she was in hair and makeup, me and my assistant went out and we coffee grinded it to death. And it was like wet, and it's the ones hanging on the ladder there are literally wet hanging on there. And then we threw them around and did a little bit of composite. I'm not a great compositor. That's probably why I build my sets. And because when I'm supposed to put things together, I try sometimes. I pretty much suck at it. So I'm better off building it from the ground up. and just have a lot of strings and stuff in there, and I can take that away. I'm good at taking things away in images, not putting them in there digitally.
Making them simple. But that's what I love about your work. And if you are watching us online, can someone leave me a comment as well? Because I want to see where people are from as well, and I want to check that my chat box is working. So just drop anything in there in the comments and we'll check that out. You first came to my attention though when I was judging a photography competition. I did not know that this was one of your images, but I saw this image and I could not believe how striking this image was. I kept looking at it because what I like to do when I'm judging images is I like to find every little flaw I possibly can. And I couldn't find a flaw in this image. I thought the jawline was so striking. It was such a good connection with the viewer. Can you speak to this image just a little bit for me? Because I don't think I've ever actually had the opportunity to talk to you about this image before we go into your 3 favorite images. Talk to me about this image.
Sure. This is the son of acquaintances to me, and they mentioned to me that he was interested in doing a little bit of modeling. And this is pretty much a test shoot for him as a model. And I had the flower laying around, the dried dandelion laying around, and I don't even remember if he or I brought the turtleneck. I think he brought the turtleneck because I just asked him to bring a few things in since we were just testing him out. And we tried that on, and I thought it was really, he had very nice full lips, and the colors that connected. And then I am a sucker for color balance and finding that red thread going through with colors. So I brought those books in, making sure that middle book was red. So you got that color harmony with the face and the hands, and then the reds connecting and the beige tones. So yeah, and he was just really, really good for being his first time in front of the camera. He loved it. I loved it. And when I saw this in camera, I knew it was a good one. And we have more from that shoot, but that one it popped. It was like no question. Sometimes when you're choosing to enter an image to competition, it is so hard to make that choice. And I made it wrong choice many times, but that one, it was no other image from that shoot stood out as much as that one. So for once, that was an easy choice.
It's a beautiful, beautiful shot. Hello, Peter. Hello, William. And I just want to bring this back up, a little bit of housekeeping. Hello, Fiona. You might want to have a look at the profile picture you've chosen there, Fiona. I don't remember you having that hair since around about the mid-2015s. That doesn't look like Fiona at all. It's a really, really lovely picture, but let's keep these profile pictures updated. So, Martina, we're going to have a look at your 3 favorite images now. And this is the way that it's going to work. We've asked you to choose your 3 favorite images, one from the entire world of photography, one from your world of photography, an image that you've taken professionally, and we are also going to be, thank you very much, Fiona, I'm glad you've taken that in good jest, and we've also asked you to select an image from your own personal files, just a personal image away from professional photography. So we're going to start off with your image from the world of photography, and it's this image from German photographer Peter Lindbergh. We're going to bring it up now. It's of Tina Turner, and this is one of the images from a book that was published of Peter's work of Tina Turner. There's some stunning images on that, quite an easy book to find online. But Martina, talk to me about why you love this image so much.
Well, first of all, I've been a fan of Tina Turner forever, and her music always resonated with me, but also her story, her life story, and her strength. Life can really screw you over sometimes, and you have hardship coming in, but the way she handled her, and always was a queen, and she was always humble and true and real. And even if she was a mega star, she kept her realness. She was not one of those going off being nutty. She was really cool all the way through. And then, you know, if you look at her features, not being the normal pretty girl, she's still extremely striking because it comes through her persona. And that has always been something that fascinates me. You don't have to be you don't have to have the perfect face. When you give yourself to the world, when you're true and you put yourself out there and be a positive, you will become beautiful. You will be beautiful. And then she has those legs. I mean, you know, who cannot love her? And I do not have great legs. Might have other features, but the legs, no. So I'm jealous of her legs. So having that said, so I'm a huge fan of Tina. And at the end of my photography education, because I went to photography school in Los Angeles and became a photographer over there, Hanes Hosiery, we're talking stockings, like women's stockings, hosiery, came out with this advertisement, like a whole campaign with Tina Turner as the main character, and Peter Lindbergh shot these images. They absolutely blew me away because they are like behind the scenes kind of glamour, where you can see her as if she's like literally walking away from the set, and he's capturing her. Of course it's set up, of course it's posed, so to speak. But his way of creating this glamour, a little bit of rock and roll, and with her persona just shining through, I think it was some of that maybe, I mean, I knew of him before because I knew of his iconic images and I loved them. But I think this made me really fall in love with both him and Tina. It's also like cemented it. And these image, I have to, this is like, I wrote to you when you asked me to submit this. I went online to try to find this, and it was all just bad resolutions. I couldn't find a good resolution, and I have this one and another one in my bathroom.
Oh, really?
This is actually an ad that I cut out when I lived in the States. I moved back home 28 years ago. This has been with me since I left LA, and it's in my bathroom, both of these. See, every day. So I had to take it down and take a picture to send to you.
I think I saw a similar one from the same shoot, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up now. This one here, is this the same campaign that you were talking about?
It's the same campaign, and it's I think it's from the book.
Yeah.
And I have the other one. I'm going to be like, you know, when you post something to look at this.
Hang on, let's bring it up nice and big. Let's bring it up nice and big. Let's have a look. What's this you got here? Ah, I see.
It's the other one that's in my bathroom.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. She's got such a personality to her. Yeah. And it really comes across, you know, in the images and in the smile and in the energy that sort of comes across. And it's got that, like you said, that set up classical style where we know looking at it that this is a set. This is made to look like this. This is a multi-million pound advertising campaign. Yeah. And it's all centered around elevating this person who already has star power and star quality to a whole different level. And that's what I love about that work. For people who aren't familiar with Peter Lindbergh, they probably are, because he shot this image, which I think is possibly his most famous work, and he's in the middle on the image on the left-hand side. But this image elevated all of these supermodels to a whole new level when this image, I think, hit the cover of Vogue. I think he shot his first Vogue cover in around about 1988. And that was quite. I have to just stop
you there, James. I'm sorry to interrupt, because I went to an exhibition this summer to check out Christy Mitchell's Wonderland exhibition that's on tour right now in Sweden. And they had another exhibition going on with like fashion photography throughout the times, or then and now. And this was hanging. And I walked in and I go, oh my God, he's one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite images. So I actually saw this live just a couple of months ago.
Oh, incredible. Right. How did it look?
It looked amazing. It still looks amazing. Yeah.
Incredible. I think he was one of the first photographers to shoot, if not the first photographer to shoot a Vogue cover that featured a model outside of a studio environment and also not looking straight at camera, which for sort of 1988 cover editorials was quite, you know, drastic and daring, which is possibly by taking chances and by doing things like that, that's how these photographers get to make a name for themselves and do something a little bit different. But I love that image, and it just evokes all of the style and everything that you evoke personally yourself. So yeah, really, really cool. Thank you for sharing that one. We're going to move on to your second image now, which is an image we haven't spoken about because I wanted to hear it directly from you, and I wanted to get all of the information from you as we go live. So this is from your personal collection. You describe it as one as having a special meaning and a landmark photo for you. So talk to me about this image.
Yes, my fine art portrait style wasn't something that slowly developed throughout the times. It came sort of out of necessity, that when I went back to work after having my 2 kids, and I went back seriously 100%, because I was working all the time anyway, but seriously 100%. It was like right after the digital revolution, where a lot of people were shooting, a lot of photographers, and they weren't half bad. And I found myself struggling with the fact that how can I need to charge, because I have a studio, I have a business. So I need to charge a decent amount of money to make my salary, to everything. You all know that. So I was like, how can I elevate myself? I wanted to become an expert of something. I wanted to make sure I have a style that nobody can actually just copy and claim by themselves. And I went online and I did a deep search on what kind of styles that spoke to me. And I found photographers like Sue Bryce. Her early work, like when she was on Creative Live, was one of my really big influencer for me. Loved the painterly look that she had, more the painterly style of her, more than her magazine, and found similar photography that resonated. And I went and sort of revamped my whole business and tried to push these fine art portraits. I didn't even know what to call them in the beginning. There was nobody in Sweden really doing this back then. It was a whole new genre. Is that how you say it? Genre?
Yeah, genre. Yeah.
Genre.
Yeah.
And I definitely, of course, find the styles. I didn't invent it, but it was like, I was like a pioneer in Sweden doing it. And so back to this image, I was working to try to find models and shoot and push this out there, because I didn't have clients paying for this back then. Nobody knew what this was. So I created a lot of portfolio work, asking for models. And this is a daughter of a friend of mine. I think she was 16, 17, maybe, when we did this. And this is my first headpiece. This is my first, and it's been very many headpieces after this. I went to an amazing flower shop here, where the owner, she's extremely creative herself. And I tried to explain for her that I wanted to create something with flowers and greenery in her hair. And I had this green dress, and this is like a bad vinyl backdrop probably from China, some crappy ass, and it's very small. And I threw this together, and she gave me like ideas about, you can have this come down, and then the red and the greens and the orange will play for. So the flower shop lady helped me. And then I was standing my first time with a glue gun. This headpiece is such a mess. There are pins everywhere, and there are glue things hanging out. So the thing that I said earlier about I'm an expert of taking things off from the image, it's right here, taking all those pins off. And this is also one of the first images I entered into WPPI, and it got an award, and it was hanging in the gallery. So one of my first ones. Yeah.
Such a buzz, isn't it, when that happens?
So this is a landmark for me, because I think this is the first fine art portrait that I planned, and this is my first headpiece.
Wonderful. So there's real sense of stepping up your game and stepping up to a different level and taking a chance on a style that you're aspiring to. So we've all done the Creative Live deep dive at somewhere in the mid 2010s. We've all been there and had a look at those videos that drip fed out online. And to look at a photographer who is excelling above you in the form of someone like a Sue Bryce, and to want to aspire to be in that ballpark, to be in that hunt, to be in that Venn diagram is a ballsy thing to do, to go out there and do it. And then to do it from like you say, from an analog point of view, but also from a point of view of cost, where you can't go out and buy the best backdrops. You can't go out and get headpieces designed by specialized people with organic, real items. But you've managed to create something that has really good connection. First of all, the impact is there with the connection. The crop feels right on it. It sits nicely within the frame. The color harmony with it is complementary and subtle within that. It's not a real abrasive complementary color. It's not something that's really grabbing your attention, but it's just in there, little hints and little dots and little tones working through it. It's very cleverly handled. And speaking about hands, those hand placements, particularly that top hand, is beautifully, beautifully done. And as someone who can never get it right, and you will notice, this is a spoiler alert, people, anything I've ever won an award with doesn't have a hand in it. Because I figure you can't shoot them, don't shoot them. But I like the way that that's posed, and I just love the overall feel of the image. Now, without wishing to go into this too much more, you've made a career out of creating and elevating yourself beyond this to images on a different level now, right? Okay. But this was the first one that made you step up. So now, as an international judge and someone who looks at these sorts of images multiple times of the year for different countries awards, I know that you're involved in over there in Icon in the USA and in the Swedish awards, and you're over here with the societies in London. As a fine art specialist, we see a lot of this style of image come through in competition because it's historically done well. So what a lot of people do is they'll look at it, go, hey, that does well, I'm going to enter a load of that. As a specialist in that field, what are you looking for to elevate an image from just competition worthy to potentially award winning and category winning? What elements are you looking for that really spark your interest when you see an image like that? Deep question, I know, I'm sorry.
I thank you for letting me prepare that one. Appreciate it. So it's got to have impact, and I'm such a sucker for the color. So when that is either in harmony or it speaks to me and it's well thought of, like the whole spectrum, that is what's it just makes me go, oh. And then I'm a little bit like you. I start looking for flaws. I'm almost ashamed to admit it because I'm not such an emotional judge. I'm very technical. Okay. And I want those skin tones to be spot on. Skin tones are for me like a pet peeve. So where I really need, you can have all the beauty in the world and all the painterly creative effects and the editing perfect. But if you miss that the fingers tops are red or ears are red or, you know, things, I'd be like, so it's got to be that, the technique's got to be spot on, but also a connection. It doesn't have, for me, necessarily emotional, because I'm not that emotional. And when it comes to certain images, I mean, if there's a story, it punches you in your face. Of course, it creates emotion. But other than that, I just want it to be connection. I want it to be, feels like it's coming out of the image, where it's something that's like, whoa, that hits me. So it's those elements. But I'm seriously, a black and white image can hit me, but I am a sucker for color.
You are.
That's who I am.
And your whole Instagram feed will be a testament to that if anyone wants to.
I have to force myself. I have to force myself to actually put up some black and white sometimes.
People like it. Whenever you do that, is this image better in color or black and white? Most people choose black and white. They like the artisticness of it and the timelessness of it. So let's move. We're talking about emotion, detaching your emotion from images. We're talking about that in judging. Let's go the other route. Let's talk about getting emotional about images, and let's talk about your final image. We've discussed one image from the world of professional photography, one image from your personal portfolio of professional photography, and then this is your third and final favorite image, and this is from your private collection. Speak to us a little bit about this image and why it's so important and why it means so much to you.
I'm going to get kind of personal now.
Okay.
So I am no longer living with the father of these amazing kids of ours. We are very good friends, so it's not a bad breakup. It's a good breakup, if you can call it that. But I'm going to... when we lived together, we started out together and we were married and we had our kids, we were quite well off financially, quite well. And due to circumstances, we lost it all financially. And it was hard times. We stayed together. And as he was working, we're both working hard. I mean, my job wasn't affected, so I kept on working and everything like that. But he was the big breadwinner, so to speak, in this family. We traveled a lot, luxurious vacations and all of that. But he was working his way back, and he's an entrepreneur, and he finds his way. But at the end of that journey, I didn't have the same feeling, so I decided to find my own happiness and go out on my own. And I wanted to be a role model for my kids, not staying around for something like money or whatever, comfort, but leaving that security. And he was well back again, and we were safe, so to speak, financially. But I decided to leave. And it's been tough privately, financially, to handle, everything on my own again, with bills and rents and cars and kids and subscriptions to all kinds of things we need to buy. And we love to travel, and I love to travel. So long story short, this is an image from the year after we separated, that I took a vacation with my kids and made that financially possibly all on my own. And coming back to that Tina Turner role model, that you can rise above and you can find your way, and anything's possible if you put your mind to it. So we had a wonderful time. I was quite broke after coming home from this trip, worth every penny. But I felt really proud of going on vacation and make this work with my kids. And these two are my why. Why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard? To find that financial stability again, and on my own, and make sure that we can travel and enjoy the world together.
Thank you, first of all, for being so honest. And I love it when people talk about these images, because you dig so much deeper. We can talk for ages about our professional bodies of work, okay? Mm-hmm. And we can talk about elements and compositions and colors and camera settings and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, photography is the art of not only drawing with light, but capturing moments in time that can't be replicated. And to take a chance on, yourself and your family, and to make that priority, right, within yourself, with where you were at that time in your life. And the priority was build some memories, take some time, and and so many people's favorite photos are images on their phone that they've just captured of moments that remind them of happy days and remind them of their why. And that's what I think is so brilliant about the fact that we all have cameras in our pockets.
Yeah,
is that we can make those moments. I'm a bit of a nightmare on holiday. So if I do have a camera, and I did ruin a holiday to Chicago once by taking a camera so that no one else had fun, and I didn't have fun because I just spent all my time taking photos and I wasn't taking good enough photos for myself, and it was terrible. So we decided ever since then, and that was 2006, we decided ever since then that we would take a Polaroid camera on holiday that only had 12 images in it. So just literally take 12 images on holiday, and they'd go as prints, and we'd bring back prints, and we frame the prints, and we hang the prints, and we see the prints every day.
That's great.
I go back to it, and I've said it a billion times. You don't understand the value of a photograph until it's all you have left. And these photographs, these things here, these memories, and these reasons why are what is so important. And it's just a beautiful. You can tell that you're so happy in this photograph, which comes across, so effortlessly, I think. And it's just very, very real. And that's what I love about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Martina.
Yes.
We're going to ask everyone to put a question in this box here, because I can't just keep on making up questions. It can't just be the mission. But we're coming to the end now, and like I said, I did want you've shared personal stories here, and you've shared some of your professional work now. What have you got coming up over the next month that excites you in the world of photography? What's coming up for Martina?
First of all, I am busting my butt right now to try to get some entries for the Icon Awards competition. I'm getting super stressed because Melissa and Jerry are posting every day. Now it's 14 days left for the deadline, and I go, ugh. So
you got loads.
So that's what I'm doing. I shot a competition image last night. I'm shooting one tomorrow and one on Saturday, and maybe a couple next week. So that's my end of September. But then I'm also going, as soon as October starts, I'm going to a little bit further up north in Sweden for the Swedish Nationals. I'm judging the finals.
Yes.
So really excited about that. And we're going to hang out with amazing colleagues. We have our friends Scott Johnson and Maggie Robinson joining us to the Swedish Nationals.
Both excellent judges. They're both going to add something very different to your panels. I can't wait to see how that pans out for you. It's going to be great.
I know it's going to be fun. And of course, many other distinguished photographers as judges. And and then I have a couple of workshops that I'm trying to push. It's not, honesty straight here, that it's not easy for photography community right now to spend, their hard-earned money on education, even if they want to. I love to educate. I love to do my workshops and to travel doing that. But it's been hard lately to make it, to sell the amounts of tickets I need to sell. So I'm working on that.
We're going to do a joint one soon, Beauty and the Beast. It's going to be fine. Anyway, question from the gallery. Fiona's got a question for you. What do you know now? What do you know now that you wish you knew when you started out in photography in LA 28 years ago? What advice would you give yourself from 28 years ago? I think that's a very good question, Fiona. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave your little icon up there for a while. Martina, what advice would you give yourself?
Hi, Fiona. Good to see you. This is, I've been asked this before, and I think that I wish that I had a stronger sense of my own value, if that makes sense. That I knew I had to make money. I knew I knew I had to make a decent salary, but I think I could have done better with valuing my work even higher, because I was quite different right from the start, but I kept myself a little bit low and not wanting to stick it, to be out there too much. But I think if I had stood my ground a little bit more, taking care of like that, just valuing myself and be proud of what I'm doing and put a better price tag on it, I would have learned that quicker. It would have been great. The rest of the stuff, I think I was going to say this. I think a lot of photographers need to work on their self-value. I think it's like a common thread when we are creatives and we love our work and we're very emotional about our work, but it's hard to put a value on the stuff that we do. I'm still struggling sometimes, but I've gotten a lot better with it. And the rest of the stuff is just a matter of learning that, I think. So the self-value and the self-work. Oh, I know another one. I wish I would have been a better salesperson.
Okay.
Because that's a technique. I always thought myself not being salesy. I just want to be friends with everybody. But I realized as I have become a better salesperson that my clients actually appreciate it more, because I make sure that they get a value, even if they spend more money. It's rising their value. They are more grateful when they walk out of here after investing. And I'm not pushing the sales on them. I'm just being a good salesperson, trying to make sure that they get what they need and what they want and what I can provide for them. So I think I wish I could have been a better salesperson from the beginning.
The beauty of this industry is that you don't have to be a good salesperson at the end, because if you've done the sales job all the way through the process, you don't need to sell at the end.
Right.
Evelyn, thank you very much, Fiona, for your question. Evelyn Wallen has a question as well. And don't worry when I bring you up nice and big on this question, Martina, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just giving you the stage to answer personally, because I know people want to hear from you and not from me. But Evelyn says, what made your business fly? What was the thing that made that business take off and made you this multi-award winning ambassador with an amazing studio in Sweden? Can you pin it down to one thing? The stage is yours, Martina.
When I started in the beginning, I was different. So I opened up a studio in this town, and there were either commercial photographers doing commercial work, or there were portrait photographers doing the portrait work that used to be around forever. And I opened up and I said, well, I'm going to work both in the commercial field and the portrait field. And I had a sense of fashion and commercial ideas with me into the portrait system, to where I asked my client what to wear, or I told my clients what to wear, and I was minding wardrobe from the first day of photography. And that was not heard of, because before they all like showed up in whatever they were wearing. I was like, no, we need to plan our outfits. So I think that put me aside. And actually within opening my studio, I was okay financially. I wasn't like making a lot of money, but it was going around after 3 months. But I'm also like very new and very fresh face, and sort of was making a thing. And then let's jump up to when I revamped my studio after that digital revolution at 2015. I made a whole thing revamped. And then that's when I started exploring the fine art. So I usually say this, if I can find a niche, I'm not saying I'm only niche down, because I shoot personal branding, I shoot headshots, and I shoot corporates, and I shoot classic portraits as well. But I found this niche and started competition. The competition has taught me so much, and I talk about this all the time. It's really been the best school of learning for me. But that together with finding this niche that's not just and I didn't create it because I needed to make money. I created it because I felt it in my heart, and it's a part of me. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid. I suck at it, but I found this way of doing portraits that are artistic, and it's like come full circle. And I also decided early on, I need to monetize on this. So it's got to be that thing, that finding a specialty, being really good at something, or honing your craft, like really work on your craft, and then make sure you put a value on it and tell people, this is what I do, this is what I'm good at, it's going to cost this much. I also have cheaper packages or more affordable packages, but it's not going to be that fine art experience. It's going to be a whole different kind of set. So I'm keeping that. Even if hard times, I'd rather not do my fine art portraits in hard times. Instead of lowering their prices, I'll find some other things to do. I go for classical portraits, and I push my classical portraits. If that's what people can afford, I'll do that, because I value the input I do in fine art photography so much that that's going to be a special package. And so I think, finding that thing and practice and push it out there so people know it's out there.
Absolutely. Last call for questions. This is your last chance to get a question to Martina. She will answer it on the feed.
And she takes her time to answer things, so it takes forever.
She does it properly. She does it properly, not like me. Well, I've got a question for you. Why in the last few years is the sort of Scandinavian influence in competition so strong? You've got such strong competitors from all over that region. Is it a case of you guys pushing each other? Are you in private groups together? Is there something in the water? What's going on? There's some amazing Swedish photographers right now entering the competition scene. I do agree with you. Lovely people and creative in their own way. And we sort of like have our own style. It's not like we stamping on top of each other. They're individuals and good storytellers. And I do think we have a really lovely connection, and we push each other and we support each other. And sometimes I'm not in those groups because I'm judging a lot of these. So they leave me out of these groups, but they send images to each other to evaluate, and they leave me out because I'm judging, so I can't see them. But so support is amazing. And we stand on the sideways and we clap. And are we running out of time? Are we okay? No, that's good. That's what I love about it. I love the support.
I have a sample. I just want to say that I was judging in London last January, last convention. And there was an image coming up, and I knew it was one of the Swedes. And I didn't know exactly which one it was. I had a few in mind. And I've seen this image so many times, and I was like, I know it's a great image. I could have probably judged it fairly, but it didn't have that impact on me. And I couldn't really feel it because I've seen it. And so I excused myself. And this guy comes in, and he was his first time judging, and he was over the moon of this image. And he even got a challenge. And he talked it up. And I'm standing on the sidelines, like tears in my eyes, being so happy that I stepped off as a judge, because I could never have given that image those kind of feelings that he did. And he raised some points for it, and it did quite well. So, you know what I'm saying? So I knew that I'm stepping off. And I would have done that for any, but that's like knowing it was a Swede. I'm like, I'm too familiar with this. I'm stepping off. And that's just how we are, you know.
An honourable, supportive community, and that's what you get at the societies in London every year. It's the best judging panel, honourable, supportive, and they do it the right way, which is really good. Martina, I agree with you, Evelyn. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your questions this evening. Thank you very much, Martina, for joining us. Where can people find you on the Google machines, on their smartphones, and on the internet, Martina?
Well, I'm on Instagram. I think I'm mostly active there, and Facebook. My Instagram handle is Martina_Warenfeldt.
There we go.
So that's pretty easy to find. There's what it looks like. And I'm also on Facebook on M Studio Martina Warenfeldt. You could probably find me on Facebook, Martina Warenfeldt. But if you put Warenfeldt in there, you will find it. And yeah, those are the places I'm most active on.
Thank you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'm going to be doing one of these every Thursday. I'll be talking to a different photographer and doing these 3 favorite images, and we're going to go round the whole world. We've started in Sweden. I don't know where we're going to go next, but we won't be here next Thursday, because next Thursday I'm going live selling prints like this. Look at this, Martine. Look, a hand. One of my pictures has got a hand in it. And look, there's another one. There's 2 hands in this one. Look.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So next Thursday, I'm selling those prints for leukemia care. We're doing special edition one-off prints from my portrait of a wrestler back catalogue, some fine art prints in there as well, not just pictures of half-naked men. There will be some fine art stuff in there, stuff that may go on the wall for you and you won't have to take down when the parents come round. Thank you very much, Martina, for joining us. I hope that you can join me next week, and I hope we can raise some money for leukemia care. And I hope that you can join me in all the weeks afterwards. Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you for all of your input. And we hope to see you next time. I've never really know how to sign these things off, so I'm just going to say cheerio.
Cheerio.